In 2020, because of COVID-19, the Train Collectors Association canceled both its April and October meets at the fairgrounds outside York, Pennsylvania. Coronavirus concern interrupted a legendary event held continually since 1969. Not even the partial meltdown at the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant in March of 1979 could shut down the York meet. So I didn't get to York in 2020, but I have a lot of memories. I've been going to York meets, but not all of them, since 1970, when I was 8 years old. How did the York meet come about? Throughout the 1960s, the Train Collectors Association grew so rapidly that Pennsylvania meet locations in Hershey and off Route 30 east of Lancaster quickly became inadequate. Up stepped Ray Lee Cates, a local TCA member who had displayed his train collection at the actual York fairs held in late summer. Cates knew the huge York Fair facilities were a long-lasting solution to the TCA Eastern Division's need for ever more space. In the first years of the York meet, only one hall, Memorial Hall, the Blue Hall in meet parlance, was needed. This Blue Hall side door is now just another access point, but for a long time it was the meet entrance and registration desk. Oh, how many York adventures began here. By 1974 or so, the meet expanded to more halls, including Old Main, the Red Hall. In those days, these old buildings still had their original barn-like interiors with stalls and display cases for the actual fair. In the mid-1980s, the meet almost moved to Maryland over the threat of every seller having to collect state and local sales taxes. The tax collectors were satisfied by the creation of a separate dealers' hall for those who own train-related businesses. Today, the dealers who must collect tax set up in the Orange Hall Arena building. But for a long time, the dealers had to display their wares in the quirky funnel cake and waffle stands under the racetrack grandstand seats. I miss that. I can still see Al Franchetti, swamped with customers, leaning over a hot dog counter to fill their train parts orders. Al was a patient man. My dad and I threw some pretty challenging repair jobs at him. One well-known and favorite dealer of many is Tony Haye from Huntington, West Virginia. Tony probably attended more York meets than any other member. At those early York meets, many attendees, like pioneer collector Tony Kovaleski from Scranton, wore jackets and ties. In the closing hours of the meet on Saturday, every attendee had to sit down and be quiet for the business meeting. Everyone hated this, except those who liked to talk. One was Glenn Ewell, a hobby dealer from Akron, Ohio. Rising to a chorus of groans, Glenn would pop off about how junky the trains of the early 70s were. Glenn's criticism is credited with helping Lionel to save itself. In 1974, my dad and I won the grand prize, a Lionel 400E set, then worth $1,000, but we had left the meet before the drawing. The prize was claimed for us by Hugo Keene, a great gentleman from Baltimore, and I believe president of TCA's Eastern Division at the time. Other random York memories. The undertaker who used to bring his trains in a shiny black hearse. Charlie Phillips, whom my mom called the Bologna Man because he always had trays of cold cuts and cheese cubes next to the trains on his table. You couldn't hand out food like that today. The Williams Electric Trains table manned by Jerry Williams in his bright red shirt, along with Jerry's assistant, a young Mike Wolfe. I can't wait until another crisp, sunny October day when I can walk through York's halls, remembering my dad and mom and the long-gone members I talked to and the trains I got long ago, and can stop to have a hot dog in the old Blue Hall canteen, where I can still hear my cousin Joe Bradshaw exclaiming, "You paid X for that, I gotta see that run, buddy," and leave the meet with a big cup of what I think is the best lemonade anywhere.